I'm Kelsey Young. I'm the environmental manager for the Blue Line Extension project, and I'm excited to be here with you all in August. And so that means that our years of environmental review has now reached that end phase. In the environmental review process, just to start there, that we look at a range of topic areas, looking at the impacts and the benefits of the project across social, economic, and environmental issues. So even though the title is environmental review, looking at the impacts and the benefits of the project across social, economic, and environmental issues. So even though the title is environmental review, particularly in the Blue Line Extension corridor, much of the range of topics that we look at is related to the community impacts and benefits. And so through this process, the goal is to look to maximize the benefits of the project, the transit investment that the project will bring, look to lessen or minimize this. We look at that whole range of topics. And with the amended record of decision, the Federal Transit Administration has approved our mitigation strategies. So that's the good news story that I'm here to share more information about here with you today. So in May of this year, we published the supplemental final environmental impact statement, and that lists all of the impacts and benefits across that whole range of topics. That document is available on our project website. And then this amended record of decision is that next and final step. These mitigation strategies are strategies to address the impacts of the project. The implementation phase, we're in the planning phase of that implementation now, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. But the time period that we would be rolling out and implementing those mitigation strategies is connected to our federal funding. So one of the programs that I am really excited to share information about is our program of the recurring themes that we were hearing from community members is helping how the project should help businesses make it through that period of construction. And so what we are planning to implement here is a business support fund. It is modeled after the Central Corridor Funders Collaborative model, but we really were hearing a need to decrease the barriers, help businesses have an easy path to be able to access this funding. So the plan is for up to $30,000 per business for a program total of up to $5 million. And this support fund is intended for that construction phase. So as Alicia mentioned, with projects, the construction planning to start towards the end of 2027, this business support funding would be during that construction phase. And the way that we are planning to structure it is payments to businesses to offset their rent or mortgage payments, rather than having it be modeled based on proving lost revenue or something like that, which some of the other examples around the country and the Central Corridor model that's how it was structured. So trying to make it easier for businesses to get connected to this funding. We are in that planning phase around how do we set those criteria, how do businesses apply or get connected to the funding, but there will be requirements related to how close to construction, distance-wise, the businesses are located, and that period of construction. We are intending for this to be focused on small businesses, so we have so we are happy to take input and continue the conversation about how can we make this program successful. And again, this business support fund is during construction and is connected to the project's federal funding. Another key program that is innovative and new for Metro Transit is to be implementing a community investment fund. Within our range of environmental, seeing a number of different community type of impacts and hearing from community members about concerns about displacement. And so this is the mitigation program that is designed to offset some of those community level impacts. The structure would be $5 million provided to community organizations. This is intended, based on what we were hearing from community for this need of housing stability and helping existing corridor residents stay in place and be able to, live in the corridor in the long term and reap the benefits of the transit access. And so that's the plan, to partner with community organizations that are already doing that type of work. And so we'll be looking to identify, what specific organizations, and again, we're in the planning phase, and this is connected to the federal funding, but happy to continue to collect input from community around, what type of services and organizations should this community investment fund go towards. Just to highlight some other strategies within the project to address negative impacts of the project, we have, this is just some highlights within our environmental review documents. There's lots more information if you have a particular topic that you're interested in. So this is just to give you a flavor of some of the other mitigation strategies within the project that the amended record of decision and the Federal Transit Administration have, included and approved. And with that, I think it's Ricardo's turn.
Thank you. Hey, everyone. Good morning. Thank you for your time. I don't know if you have my slides. Thank you. And then I'm assuming I press green to move forward. I'm smart. All right. So, green. Where am I? Oh, that's not me. Just kidding. All right. So, maybe we can check the room. Like, could you raise your hand if you heard of anti-displacement? Let's see, maybe hands. All right, so a lot of you, most of you. Okay, that's great. Okay, so I work for the Alliance. We're a nonprofit organization who is a coalition composed of community-based organizations with the mission of eliminating systems of oppression, advance our collective liberation. Previous corridor, the new corridor, all the way to Brooklyn Park. We like to say that our work is not about a train, but it's about the people who live in these communities. And regardless of the project, the investments, the policies that we're fighting for are needed. And we also agree that given the need that we have for public transit, that we deserve the best mode of transportation that there is. So you might be seeing a lot of timelines today. For us, super important that you know that anti-displacement needs to be occurring before, during, and very importantly, after construction. So all of these activities and this initiative is looking at those three distinct moments. So currently, we're in the before construction moment, right? So anti-displacement initiative, where did it start? Where are we now? And where are we going? That's what I want to share with you today. So back in 21, before, during, and very importantly, after construction. So all of these activities and this initiative is looking at those three distinct moments. So currently, we're in the before construction moment, right? So anti-displacement initiative, where did it start? Where are we now? And where are we going? That's what I want to share with you today. So back in 21-22, the Center for Urban Regional Affairs, CURA, Hennepin County, the Corridor Cities, Med Council, community leaders, Blue Line Coalition, we all came together to meet on weekends and work hard to come together to create anti-displacement report and recommendations, which I believe is like a first of its kind report in our region. And it studies the impacts of light trains in our communities, and it also puts forward recommendations on how to address displacement. And again, this is where the base of a lot of the strategies check out, and I have a link for you at the end here. So what is displacement even, right? We understand displacement as when people who want to stay in their neighborhood can no longer stay due to increase in housing cost or other factors. And displacement can be direct or indirect, right? So if they destroy or remove your building, you have to move out, right? But if there's changes in the character, if rents continue to go up, then people won't be able to stay where they live. And there's also cultural displacement, which the slide is not showing it there, but it's about the character changes collectively. If I no longer feel at home, I'm being displaced due to these cultural changes. So this is a complex issue, right? But we're not just moving blindly here. We do know that there are ways that we can fight against these changes. We need to build relationships, develop knowledge, coalitions, leadership, and we know that this cannot be, the anti-displacement cannot be addressed just with one thing, right? But we need changes in policies, we need investments, and changing the narrative. So for our coalition, what do we mean when we think about anti-displacement? It's about abundance. Give people time, give people resources, give people information, and that's the mindset that we're bringing forward, right? So the report, again, created recommendations for the corridor, but for Minneapolis, just wanted to show you this slide. I'm obviously not going to read everything, but some of those recommendations in the report include creating opportunities for community ownership or ensuring that there is access to land, housing, and businesses in the corridor throughout all phases of construction. And the report also identified policies that the corridor cities, the county, Met Council could adopt to help us go from being at risk of displacement to thriving. So for example, tenant opportunity to purchase would allow residents or businesses to purchase where they operate or live if their space goes up for sale, right? So just to talk about one of those many policies. And after we had all the policies, all the recommendations, they told us, you know what, these are great ideas, but you need a lot of money to implement all these things that you want to do. So we said, okay, sure, we can work on that. And we partnered with Hennepin County, community leaders, Blue Line Coalition, and we went to the Capitol back in 2024 to get that funding that we need. So picture, you'll see some of the delegations that went to the Capitol to testify and demand that they fund our anti-displacement activity. But it is a start. It's a first step towards abundance. It also generated an anti-displacement community prosperity program board. I am currently serving as one of the co-chairs, and this board is intended to distribute the dollars the state allocated for anti-displacement. Those expenditures that the state, the expenditures that we can allocate are on housing stability, small business support, and on the real estate development. The work is ongoing. We're doing it live. It's not perfect, and we do need your help to continue to make it better and impactful. So where are we now? We've met regularly since June of 2024, and we have created bylaws, timelines. We developed an RFP. We developed priorities, relationship processes. So we've been very busy building this board. And this year, through a board-led process, we are also trying to allocate $2 million, and we have created bylaws, timelines. We developed an RFP. We developed priorities, relationship processes. So we've been very busy building this board. And this year, through a board-led process, we are also trying to allocate $2 million before the end of the year across the corridor on opportunities that will move anti-displacement forward. This is, again, unfolding as we speak, so keep your eyes on the Your Blue Line website that I'm sharing at the end for you to get updates on some of these things that are happening now. So that's where we're now, and where are we going? So we still need to launch a public RFP process. We don't really have a clear timeline for that yet. We also need to recruit new board members who are community leaders, business owners, residents, to serve in the board and help us make decisions moving forward. We're also looking to fundraising for additional funding and matches for the dollars that we have. And we're also working to ensure that anti-displacement doesn't just live on this board, but it's touching the project, the board, and all of the areas that we can be impactful with. So all that being said, that's my email. And then on yourblueline.org, you can find all of the information you need on the board, the minutes, etc. So that's the information that I wanted to share with you today about the board and anti-displacement. Thank you.
Thank you, Ricardo. I'm so glad you were able to join us today. That is also a critical piece of information and update that the community, thank you, has been looking forward to. Our next presenter, you've seen him once, you're going to see him twice. We're going to invite Ryan Kronzer back up to the stage. Thank you. You're going to hear about the exciting work around station area planning, the community-led and driven design work, and it's really exciting. So without further ado. All right.
This thing on? Okay, cool. So cultural placekeeping. So cultural placekeeping came right out of the work Ricardo was just talking about. Those recommendations put some of the ideas into the project, where the project itself is responsible for executing those, and then others that are outside of the project itself, and Ricardo did a good job talking about all of those. These are two of the documents that came out of that work. The first is the recommendations, then the coordination action plan gave more detail to that work. So cultural placekeeping came out of the work, like I just said. So the column on the left is the work that's within the light rail project itself. The column on the right is a very high level, maybe too high level of a list of things outside the project that anti-displacement is working on. So cultural placekeeping really simply is making cultures visible through graphics, through imagery, through themes. Cultural placekeeping, that's the cultural placekeeping that we're working on at the station architecture level. Cultural placekeeping itself is a giant category. So we're working on a smidge of a part of cultural placekeeping. So that's really important. This is not the end-all, be-all of what cultural placekeeping is. This is a small indication of architectural design that we can incorporate onto our stations. So we've been working with the community. We've had now 4 meetings with our working group, coming out to the community with our ideas on station design, and we'll be presenting that later next year. So the top image is where the opportunities are on the station. It's a little hard to see, but the sort of aqua color, those are highlighting elements that we can start adding that visual representation of culture. You can see handrails, infill panels, electrical cabinet wraps, some glass clings, potentially banners on light poles. So really trying to add enhancement to the functional elements we already have on the system. A couple of images of the working group there. And we're currently in the process of developing those themes for stations. There is a station over here on the left that you're free to give us input on the themes of each station. We also have a website that you can do that on as well. And that QR code will take you to that website I just mentioned. But find me later and I'll be happy to walk you through all of that. I believe that's my last slide. Yes. Some more contact information for our socials and our main website. Hand it back to Anika.
Thanks, Ryan. Thank you. Please give him a round of applause. I think it's been really exciting, the fact that a lot of the design and the work around the Blue Line extension has really taken into account community feedback, and that's one of the reasons why we wanted to host this summit, to keep everyone up to date on the changes and the developments, and it's really an exciting time for our community. We're going to transition a bit to our next, our next segment. We do have a few moments, so do we have any questions? Yes.
So I think I'm like very highly impacted by the noise because my particular apartment is literally on the line, within like 10 feet of the line. And your study had looked at the noise impact, but it ends at like 50 or 100 feet, considerations of that distance. But my apartment is literally like 10 feet from the line. And the closer you get to a sound source, every halving of the distance doubles the level of the sound. So at 10 feet, it's going to be extremely loud.
Who wants to take that? You can take it.
I just think that that's totally crazy, and I am not looking forward to the blue line because of the severe impact of the sound because I'm so close. And I feel like I have commented on this, and my apartment has also commented on this, but I'm not seeing that being addressed. And really the only answer is to move it into a non-residential zone.
Yeah, thank you. We can talk more, about your specific location, and I'd definitely be interested in hearing more about, the specifics of, where you live and what we identified at your, at the location of your home. Maybe to speak a little bit about where we are with noise impacts. Within our supplemental final EIS, we did identify a number of locations where there are noise impacts at residential locations and a few other types of locations too. And so the phase that we're in right now is we've reached out to those property owners. Our next phase is to work towards identifying mitigation for locations where there's noise impacts, and in some cases, we do this additional testing to measure how well the building. In some cases, we do this additional testing to measure how well the building insulates for noise, and sometimes we find that the building, the windows and the doors do a pretty good job insulating noise, and so we find that in the end, with further study, that there isn't a remaining noise impact. But where we do see a noise impact, we have a noise mitigation program where we pay for replacement windows and things like that. And so we've reached out to, we're in that phase right now of, we've reached out to property owners where we've identified noise impacts to do that testing.
Noise mitigation is not going to be sufficient because it's so close to my apartment. I'm literally right on the train line, and it's like, just literally, like I can reach up to the window and kind of touch the train. It's that close. So I'm like reading in your ideas of making insulation or another layer of windows or something like that. It's just that's just not enough. My apartment is going to be totally screwed by this.
I'd be happy to chat with you more about your specific location and, look up what we identified. We can talk at a break or whenever there's a good time. Yeah.
Thank
happy to
you.
learn
We
more.
do have one other question in the back. Yes.
Thank you.